Well, I first got into football, well, when I was really young. My dad used to take me to watch games from when I was about 5. Absolutely loved it from my first game onwards. Couldn't get enough, always wanted to go back. When we were allowed to start playing, we couldn't really start playing until I was 8. I remember joining my local club, Abingdon Boys. Every Saturday morning from then on, I was there playing initially as a forward and then very quickly as a goalkeeper. And then that was it from then on in. Well, first of all, the first few times I went to Abingdon Town was to watch the first team. Didn't go very often, and there were these big men. Because of course I was a relatively small boy myself at the time, and these big men playing football, and it looked so impressive. And there'd be quite a lot of people watching, maybe a few hundred, but they make a bit of noise, and they'd be not cheering, but cheering a goal or giving the players a bit of stick. The ground was all enclosed as a fence all the way around. We weren't used to that playing in boys football. Looked like a proper football ground. There were seats and barriers that people could lean up against, and even the goals were special. The goal frames, they were different. Everything about it was, the quality of the pitch, everything was that bit better than what I was used to. So always wanted to play there. And then we got the opportunity when we were 16. It was great, it felt real privileged to be playing at this ground. And to me, there were 500 people watching, even if there were actually only 5. So yeah, I had a real affinity for the place, really loved playing there. Well, we played boys football throughout my teens and for the same club. And then when we reached 16, 17, we joined Abingdon Town. Had a good side, really good side. The biggest game was when we played Swansea in the FA Youth Cup. I think it was the second round, and we'd already played quite a few games to get to that point because Abingdon Town, quite a small club, and we'd had to fight through. We'd beaten maybe some lesser sides, but then won some good games. I remember them Swansea turning up, and they were on a big coach, and they're all really smartly dressed, and we just fancied our chances. We knew we were a good team, and we had a real good team spirit about us. We were there a couple of hours before the game, practicing set pieces and getting really warmed up, ready to go. And this was our moment. This was going to be our time when we were going to give out our best shot against this Football League club, as they were at the time, and their youth team. And they had 1 or 2 quite well-known players we'd heard of at that point, or maybe the sons of famous players, and some names we recognised. And it was little things like even like the match referee and the assistants or the linesmen as they were quite well known locally, and there was quite a good crowd. Because normally we would have maybe 20 or 30 people watching at most, but there were a few hundred watching. And so when we walked out to play, there was a cheer and a roar, and we were really pumped up. And I remember the game really vividly because they were better than us, there was no question, but we really hung on in the game, and then we managed to score the first goal. And from then on we had something to hang on to, and they were then visibly worried that we might beat them. They were, it was like a cup upset. They were worried. You could see in their faces they were now nervous. And I had one moment where one of my teammates put in a back pass over my head. At that time you could handle the back pass, so I wasn't breaking the laws of the game, but I could just reach up and push it onto the bar. The crowd all cheered, and it was like, wow, this is our day now. This is our day. We 1-0 up. They're not going to score. We went down the other end, we scored a second, and then in the very last minute we scored a third. It was all over the local paper on the Monday morning. I suppose that was the highlight of my career certainly up to that point. I suppose being a goalkeeper, one of the problems was that if you made a mistake, it was pretty disastrous. So I remember being picked for a representative team. All the local clubs put their best players in, and I went for a trial and I got picked, and we played in this game at Hungerford Town. We were so much better than this other team, but we just couldn't score. I didn't touch the ball all game. Then in the last minute they had a free kick up at our end, and the ball came over, and it was the easiest catch I could ever have to take. It was so easy. I went up to catch the ball and it just went straight through my hands. I don't know whether I was cold or just not concentrating or what had happened. And it fell to one of their players who just tapped it into the empty goal. We lost 1-0. I was absolutely devastated. I couldn't believe I'd made such a bad mistake. And I also knew at that moment I wouldn't get picked next time. That would be it. The next game, they picked a different goalkeeper. I had one thing to do in that match and I got it wrong. Even now, I can still remember that moment. So I suppose you come back stronger from it in that you make a mistake and you learn from it. I did come back from it, but I didn't get picked for that team again. In my mid-20s I got injured, and somehow when I came back I just didn't have quite the same appetite to play and do all the training and put all the effort in. It was a back injury and I was a bit nervous about putting my body on the line in training in particular. So I gave it a bit of thought, and I in the end decided to stop playing when I was 27.
Come on. Come on. Come on. All the way in. All the way in. All the way in.
I suppose I had a dream still to be involved at the highest level that I could, whatever that was. My ambition was always go to the next level up, and I had to find a way of doing that, and I knew I'd have to start at the bottom. So that's what I did. Go to the next level up, one step at a time.